If you go to Congo, they are not comfortable with Nigerians. If you go to Zimbabwe and Zambia, they are not comfortable with Nigerians. In fact, even a country that is close to Nigeria as Ghana have a problem with the Nigerians.
You go to Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy, but there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted. 30 years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet. No, I will not allow America or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans? How dare you put yourself in that position as a moral judge? I think you should keep quiet. Because with that much blood on America's hands, you have no right to speak. I will speak because I don't have that blood on my hand. Yes, there's corruption there. Yes, there's mismanagement of resources. Yes, there is abuse. There's abuse in every nation on earth, including this one. So let's not play holy to moralize on them. Why would you put it as the most corrupt regime in the world? That doesn't make sense.
Can you think of one more corrupt?
Yeah, I'm living in one.
Hey, this is Janetta. Oh, it is cold here. You know, sweaters and shawls and ooh, I just been cold. But let me tell you, it's nice weather. And it might be around about 62 degrees. And in most places that I've lived in the world, they wouldn't call that this actually cold. But it is cool for us here in Kenya. You know, there are some things that I like about social media because it brings us intact with things that we never would hear about. And you can make a choice. You can choose to listen to basically anything. You can listen to truth-telling, storytelling, fairy tales, reality, news from basically any part of the world. And a lot of the news is coming from regular people just like you and me. But you know, one of the things that I heard today, it was today, and it doesn't make me upset, but it makes me want to say something about it. And it actually has to do with Nigeria. And maybe that's because my grandson is a Nigerian, and I've had experiences with other parts, other children from other areas, young people from other areas, Kenya and also Tanzania and Nigeria. Now, there are three different, there's a difference. They're the same complexion, basically. A lot of them are different, a little bit different. And maybe one group of, maybe the Tanzanians are smaller than the Kenyans and the Nigerians are bigger than all of them. But the thing of it is this, they have some of the same problems. But I'm going to talk about Nigeria. Now, what I have learned from my grandson is that they are taught from childhood, basically, that they need to work, they need to succeed, they need to study. But you know, working is usually there apparent, but the money for working is usually not there. In Nigeria, a lot of people have used young people to work, and at the end of the month or the end of the year or whatever, they didn't get paid. And that's frustrating. That makes you angry. There are some things in Nigeria that have been problems, and they're not problems because people are mean in Nigeria. They're not problems because people don't want to do the right things in Nigeria. But what I have found is that they are sincere about work. And their measurement of success is how much money they made.
Nigerians are among the hardest working people I've ever come across in my life, and I've travelled extensively. I've lived in 10 different countries, and I've travelled in nearly 50 countries, and I've never come across a nation of people who are willing to graft and to hustle to make ends meet as much as the people of Nigeria.
That's how they measure whether they succeeded or not. So when they go to work and don't get any money at all, they don't feel successful. So this is one of the reasons why I believe some of the young people in Nigeria, and maybe even some of the older people, did this. But they're really talking about the young people, and they're talking about their tie with drugs. Now, let me explain one thing about this that I have found out through my studies. Nigeria consumes very little drugs. In comparison, they have a 223 million population in comparison to other countries, such as Switzerland. It consumes a lot of drugs. A lot of your European countries consume a lot of drugs. A lot. The United States, they consume a lot of drugs. But in the United States, we don't advertise all the things that happen around drugs. They don't advertise it. You hardly ever hear about the drugs that are happening in the United States where young people are just falling out, dying and overdosing and whatever. You hardly ever hear about those things. And in Switzerland, you never hear about it. And in some parts of the world, like Amsterdam, you can just get it. You don't have. There's no law against it. And in Central America, drugs go through there, but basically they're flowing through there to get to the United States. I would say even some of the drugs here in Nigeria, they're in Nigeria doing the same thing in other parts of Africa, because that's where the money is, really. You get far more money in those countries for drugs than you do here in any country here in Africa. A whole lot more money. But the thing that really, I'm going to play part of the video for you, where a young man, he's an African, but he's also talking about the name that Nigerians have because they have been found in some countries selling drugs or carrying drugs and making money off of drugs.
Why is it always Nigerians that come back into this type of situation? When you talk about negative things, money laundering, drug dealing, human trafficking, fraud, why is it always Nigerians? I'm just asking. And he specified, I don't know, he said what, East Nigeria or something? He spoke about Igbo people. I don't know if he said East or West. I think he said East. He said specifically about Igbo. And this is not the first time I hear about Igbo people. Not the first time. Okay, I'm not saying it. It's not the first time they say the Igbos are the loudest. That was another person, not the Nigerian, telling me that he was an Igbo. Did he have alternative motives? Perhaps. Well, there is another person who's Ghanaian that said Igbo people are usually the ones that love money the most. Okay, Igbo people are usually the ones, like this guy said right here, that money defines who you are. So you live in a society where you are calibrated, you are celebrated based on how much money you possess.
Well, I don't know what people think. When you keep people from having jobs, when you keep people from growing industries, when you keep people locked down, and when you keep people in governments that are corrupt and no good, and that sign for loans and keep their people oppressed through indebtedness, and then you expect them to come out like a shining star. Well, fortunately, most of the people that come out of Nigeria, and those are the ones they don't talk about, most of the ones that we have exposure to in any part of the world, I mean all parts of the world. I'm talking about Japan, I'm talking about China, I'm talking about Korea, I'm talking about Russia, I'm talking about the United States, I'm talking about Poland, Germany, UK, Jamaica, where Nigerians go, and here in Tanzania and in Kenya, where the Nigerians are. The majority of the Nigerians that are here are doing something great. They're great businessmen. They stick to details. They work. They have one of the best work ethics I've seen of any of the African countries I've been in. The best work ethic that I have seen. But what people are talking about are the drugs. This is what they're talking about. Of all the things that Nigerians have given to this world and what they do now, the doctors, the scientists, the bankers, the lawyers, and not only that, some of your geniuses come out of Nigeria.
But the Nigerians are the most smartest people on the planet.
Right.
Yeah, I believe it.
I promise you. There's nobody more smarter than a Nigerian.
Respect that.
Now, of course, there's a few bad apples that came out. You know what I'm saying?
They smart too, though.
No, they extremely smart.
Yeah, they smart.
They just put their intelligence all in the wrong place.
Right.
If they would have geared that towards something more, positive and productive,
right.
Because the ones that did, there's more billionaires being made in Nigeria than anywhere in the world.
But nobody complains about that, right? Because of darkness and evil prevails over good. But yet, we say that we highlight the goodness of the Most High to say how we're blessed, but we pick up the curses all the time. Yes, there are young people that are doing things wrong and they should be detained in these countries and punished. But it shouldn't be that every Nigerian has to carry the burden of the few that are doing what they're doing. And you might tell me, well, Janetta, it's not just a few, it's quite a lot of them. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to assure you that there are far more Nigerians doing good and have done good than there are that are doing scams.
They are.
Nigerians are in New York, in Miami, in Washington, in California, all over California. Because Nigerians have this work ethic, right? They will do whatever it takes to get the job done or to get the job.
Yeah. But and interestingly enough,
So
they're the guys who've actually broken the ceiling for me in terms of earnings as well.
Yeah.
Because I was staying in that space with, the American Americans and the African Americans, and it was, you can feel, the block.
The average Nigerian American earns more than the average white American, average, but just less than the average Asian American.
And when you don't have a job, and when nobody gives you a job, and you don't have money for business or anything, you create your job. You create it. And that's what most of them have done, is they have created a job. They have created a job using scams. And you know what? Their scams are not dumb ones either. They use technology. So wouldn't it seem like we would try to harness all that intellect and energy and make sure that these people have an opportunity? Some of them can't go to school because they don't have the money to go to school. So you have young people they got full of energy, full of knowledge, and full of information that they feel like they have no other recourse. I'm not sanctifying what they're doing. But I'm telling you, let's look at us. When you back a man into a corner and he's trying to do something and he doesn't see a way out, he's going to find the best position of exit that he can. And what they have done is they found a way to get over because they can't go the direct route. They can't go the direct route. And so they're choosing a route that is available to them. And do you know one thing about it? Those people that push drugs, you better believe they're not the barons or the road runners of it. The people that push drugs, the mafia people and the corrupt people that push drugs, they're always employing. That's one industry we have that is not regulated. It's not sanctioned. They don't put any tariffs on it. They do nothing. But then they want to try to damn people because they want to live. And yes, I'm not saying they're right. Nobody's right in committing a crime. But Nigerians are not only not like because they've been known to carry drugs from one country to the other one. They've been caught doing that because they travel, I believe they travel more throughout the world than any other African. Because they're looking for work. They're not waiting for somebody to bring it to you. They're out there trying to find and develop some kind of work that they can feed their families. And they can live a life. You can talk about it if you've never been hungry. You can talk about it if you've never been naked. You can talk about it if you never had. You can talk about it and say what they shouldn't do and what they should do. But let's face it, Nigeria does not grow cocaine. Nigeria does not grow drugs. They're not the breeders of drugs. China is breeding that drug that come out of there, China. And most of the scientific things about drugs and creation of drugs don't come from Nigeria. I don't know why black people, when we do something like we do, we're so wrong, they shouldn't do that, they're bad. And then black people, as the countries, to make it so, my grandson, I had a hard time with him in Tanzania, trying to be able to be in Tanzania. He didn't do anything, but he's a Nigerian. So they want to punish him for what other Nigerians have done, not even to give him a chance. Their own black people. These white people, they have not kept the people from Europe from going to DRC, going to Rwanda, coming here to Kenya. None, and they have killed millions of black people. Millions of black people. Just killed them. And they're still doing it today. Why is it that we mistreat ourselves? Why is it that we hold a standard to us, but don't hold a standard to them? As many of us as they have killed, we should not let them come anywhere we are. We should not even want to be anywhere they are. Because they killed and they're still killing. So don't talk to me about a Nigerian or a Kenyan or this person's bad. And I'm including you all that go back to America after you visit over here. And begin to talk, it's not what we thought it was going to be. Well, what in the hell did you think it was going to be? They're suffering. If you take long enough to understand what's going on over here, then you won't be flying home talking about how you got cheated. And why do they treat white people better than they treat each other? Because, see, unlike being in the United States, where white policemen shooting you in the back, they got black people that mistreat black people over here. They don't get mistreated by white people. They get mistreated by black people on a day-to-day basis. They're mistreated by white people on a grand scale through IMF loans, through raw deals, investment deals, and coming over here and raping. Do you know how many young women and boys and things those folks from Europe have come over here and raped and pillaged? And do you put it on there and say they can't come because they're rapists? You don't do it. We need to stop chewing each other up. And start sticking together. Unity. We need unity. Yeah.
It's African Union now. There is no time to waste. We must unite or we perish.
We need unity. In South Africa, they don't want Nigerians because what they do, ain't nobody done you like them white people in South Africa. Nobody but nobody. Nobody. In fact, the Nigerians helped you in apartheid. But what we need are jobs. We need industry. We need good leaders. We need people that are concerned and not eating the flesh of their own people. Some of these elite people are eating the flesh of these people. They got money and they don't give a damn about anybody else. And I'm talking about not only the elite that are in the finances, the elite that are in other businesses. I'm talking about the elite in the church too. Preaching the gospel, and people around here are suffering like they're suffering. They make the Bible make it not true. It said that if we unify, if we pray in unity together and believe God, that the devil, the enemy, cannot destroy. That's what they preach. But prove it. Prove it. Prove what you preach is correct. Prove what you believe is right and true. And stop just talking it. You prove it. That's all I have to say. It just ticks me off. Ticks me off. But I want you to think about it. Yes, the Nigerians do things, but just think of the good things they've done. Raise them up, hospitals, major surgeries, scientific, studies, geniuses that are in every aspect of different, not only in here in Africa, but in Europe, all over the world. There's a Nigerian in almost every state in the United States, and most of them are doing things that are excellent and above board. And same way in the UK and Germany. They want the intelligent, the smart, and the educated Nigerian. We should want them too. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Woo-hoo, this is Janetta. Hey, wait a minute. Before I sign off, if you have an argument about what I say, and if I'm not right, make sure you talk to me. Make sure you comment. I want to hear from you. Subscribe and share it. If you don't want to listen to what I have to say, you share it with other people, because there are people that want to know what's going on. We need to make a change as a people. We try to get along with everybody but ourselves. We try to get along with the white people. We try to get along with the yellow people. We try to get along with the red people. But when it comes to us, we got to be perfect. But we can't have any kind of excuse or reason. Hunger and starvation is not enough reason to try to figure out how you can feed your family. Okay, that's all. Woo-hoo. Talk to you later.
The day Nigeria wakes up, Africa will never be the same again. We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign policy. We must be united.
Hey, this is Janetta, and you're watching Africa Speak.